What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Odd Popcorn for that review. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And, guys, if you can help us out, we are trying to reach the goal of 100 subscribers before the end of this year. That would be very cool. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. That will help us out a lot. But, yeah, today's movie, we just watched. We're a little late on this one, admittedly, but we just watched Saw X. So, I don't know exactly where you're at with these. I have not seen a whole lot of these movies. I certainly have not seen all of them. I know I've
Yeah,
seen one and two, and honestly, every other one I've seen, it's lost in the shuffle because I didn't. I don't think there's any other ones besides one and two that I've sat down and just intentionally watched all the way through, paid attention to. They've been on the background in my life. Nothing
same.
else was grabbing me at all, though. One and two were one I like quite a bit.
Yeah, I think
Um,
one's probably the best in the entire series.
all I
And
remember from two is the pit of needles.
yeah, I feel like all the other ones kind of just blend together. Like I think I've seen Jigsaw, and like you were saying, I've definitely had them on in the background at some point. And like, there's a couple of scenes I remember where like a dude has a shotgun collar on, maybe, and like there's like some laser things, but I couldn't tell you which movie that's from.
I remember watching four and getting to the point where I was like, "Can we just? Is there a way I can skip to like just what are the games? I just want to see just the games. Like
Yeah,
I'd watch a shortened version. It might be interesting to watch like like a montage of all the games and the whole Saw franchise.
right.
But yeah, and haven't seen. I meant to rewatch one and two and probably just one and two before this. I didn't get to do that. I watched like half of the first one and something came up. Um, but in spite of all that, and I'm interested to see where you're at with it. I really had a surprisingly good time with this. I think
Okay.
this is a good movie. You
Okay.
don't? I hear it over
I mean, I
there.
don't think it was a bad movie. I just think it's a Saw movie. It's nothing like it's the same thing they do in every movie. And
Oh, I
it's,
don't know.
well, I
I can
mean,
I, I can beg to differ a little bit.
I guess he's more directly involved in this one, which was different. And
That was
but
key for
I
me.
yeah, but it's like I still kind of felt like I knew what was going to happen. Like I getting a little spoilery, but like I kind of figured it was a setup. Like it kind of shows a guy who just had surgery, and I was like, he did not just have surgery. He's in on it.
Well, I'll tell you what for me made it different enough. Which, and granted, I am saying again, I'm saying different enough based on my memory of the first two movies
Right.
and rewatching a little bit of the first one recently. Uh, but I know it is the first time. I mean, I've heard it said that this is the first time that Tobin Bell is sort of the protagonist of the movie, and we're kind of meant to root for him more than usual. Like, I haven't seen Jigsaw. That seems like that would be from his perspective, but because I haven't seen it, I guess I'll go with what people are saying that this is the first time he's the protagonist of one of these.
Right.
And I think he's like the best acting in these movies consistently. Like I think Tobin Bell is like a known good actor. I can't think of much else that I've ever seen him in. I'm kind of stretching my brain to think. I know I've seen him in something before, um, but yeah, making him a little more sympathetic of a character. I mean, it's weird because he's not just every man dealing with a situation, but not everybody has like sadistic, meticulous games that they concoct to torment people that wrong them. But he is certainly wronged, and
Yeah.
you do not like the. I mean, they make you sympathize with one character more than the others, but you do not like the people he's torturing with these games, and you are, it does take your sympathy away for the most part. Like I said, there's the one girl that you're meant to feel some sympathy for. I don't really. I guess all the extra sympathy is just coming from the fact that was there something I missed like about is she like particularly impoverished or something? Because all I was getting is like she just seems kind of pitiful and is young
Well,
and female.
I mean, she's a drug addict, and that's kind of they kind of force it on you to feel bad for her, because like Tobin Bell or John Kramer's assistant, or I can't remember her name, uh, was like an ex
Amanda.
drug, yeah, Amanda was like an ex drug addict that survived his games, and like
So
she
she,
feels for the girl, and she's like saying, it's a different situation when they're addicted to drugs. Like she had
mm-hmm,
to,
mm-hmm.
she had this need for these drugs. She isn't as liable for this as the other people are.
Yeah, and I can agree. I mean, I can agree with that. And I think like the guy who. Oh well, no. Let me correct myself on that. But it turns out like everyone's in on this. But essentially, as we know from I think the first movie, if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
he's dying of cancer, brain cancer, and
He's been dying of cancer for a long time.
well, this is supposed to take place between one and two, I believe.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
that makes more sense. I think he did
he's been dead for
die.
a long time in the movies, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, but because I think Amanda carries out, some, I
yeah,
don't want to speculate about something I haven't seen,
right.
uh, but so he's dying of brain cancer, and there's this new, very controversial, very illegal, very can't talk about it, hush hush, um, surgery that they can do, and he's seen somebody from his support group who's recovered drastically. I mean, like living his best life out here, but he's got this gnarly scar that takes up like his whole torso. But he's like, hey, little
And
scar is worth it. I'm living my best life.
and that was weird to me because it's like he's saying he's in complete remission. It's like, so did he see the father who might actually like be doing the stuff that's curing people?
That was my understanding. Yeah,
Yeah,
because what ends up
because yeah,
because that guy seems to be. I don't think we're led to believe that's not legit.
yeah.
Like that because that guy really is better. That was in the cancer support group.
But he did
He's
write down
just
the website that sent him to the daughter.
no. I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
So he's like
Right, right.
he interacts with this guy. He's like, yeah, just a couple pills and the gnarliest scar you've ever seen in your life, and I'm good. And and so he gives him the number. He calls and he says, I want to schedule this. And he gets the daughter of this genius guy that's come up with this surgery and pill cocktail, and he gets her daughter instead of him. And she says, we might be able to pencil you in for I can do 3 months from now. And he's silent, and she says, you don't have 3 months, do you? And she says, I'll tell you what, we've been running sort of our own, like it's sort of like an offshoot, or like we got a station in Mexico, so you don't have to come all the way to Norway or Sweden or whatever it is. uh and for that one, I can make it happen where we can do it in a week, if you can
Hmm.
get down here in a week. So I think that there's the real thing, and I think that they're running this con because essentially they don't do any surgery to him at all. They make him think that they're doing surgery, and with theatrics and a DVD of brain surgery being done that they show him while they're pretending to be operating, and he's supposed to be awake for all this so they can like monitor his motor function and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And pretty quick in the movie, he finds that that's a DVD and figures out, uncovers the whole thing, and it's all fake. So all these people got to pay, and it starts with the taxi driver or whatever he was that is taking him, like, because he's the taxi like has to stop somewhere, and he's like forcibly removed from the car. Everybody's wearing balaclavas, like they put a black bag over his head, like everything's extremely secretive, and this doesn't seem like a medical procedure at all, but
Hmm.
it's, and you get it now. But he's meant to think it's just like, oh yeah, we have to be very there's a lot of laws that we're breaking here, but this stuff works. um but yeah, so that's the setup, is all these people were involved in pretending to do a life-saving surgery on this man, and they didn't do any surgery at all.
Yeah.
And they've done this 36 or 37 other times. So, and they've checked, and all these people are dead. So they're like mass murderers, uh, essentially. Maybe to different degrees, but um, what was your favorite game? I mean, that's a twisted question,
I don't
but
know, man. I don't really like any of them. It's
you don't like any of them?
they're so brutal. Like, in it, like my whole thought process behind it is like, so one of them is like this guy's got pipe bombs with like metal going through his forearm stuck to him, and it's like he gave him a scalpel to cut it off. Dude, you
He's it's like Edward Forty Hands, but with scalpels.
yeah.
So his
Oh
hands,
yeah,
his
yeah.
hands are taped up where all he is scalpels.
But it's like all these games, these people would pass out from pain and blood loss before they ever had a chance to like
I guess the
survive the
adrenaline of
game.
trying to stay alive,
I mean,
maybe that.
yeah, that one was a little hard to watch. It wasn't as bad. Like the worst one was the one where he gives her the girl's like tied to a like I beam or something, or steel beam, and it's like this wire around it that was used for like field surgeons, I think, or something.
Yeah, yeah. Wire saw.
Yeah, and he gives her like what is it? Like a little wire saw that's got two handles on it, and she's supposed to
A
cut her own
tourniquet.
leg off in a tourniquet. That
Like
was
at
the
the
most brutal
thigh, like
one.
way high up. She's got to
Like
cut it off, and
that would,
one yank at a time.
and it's like
Oof.
that's gonna cut your femoral artery, and you're gonna bleed to death in like seconds, dude.
Well, I guess that's what the tourniquet's about, but it
I
probably wouldn't have
guess.
worked. but she's got to like put it. Oh man, it is hard. It is hard to
Yeah.
watch. Look away now if you don't even want to hear the stuff described to you. But she's got to like stick a hose in the middle of her bone that she just sawed open and suck out marrow and
Mhm.
deposit a certain amount of it in a thing to terminate a switch or what. Anyway, it's a 3 minute time limit. So as soon as she starts doing this, that is not enough time.
No.
Even if you are aggressively going at it, like, okay, 3 minutes, got it. Like if she was just went straight to town, I don't think she'd get it in time. But she just narrowly misses. The saw in front of her turns on.
Cuts her head
Yeah,
off.
and she is decapitated.
But
Not
like
even quickly.
I would just like be resigned to my fate if I was ever in these situations and hope that it was a quick death. Like hers wasn't as bad cuz it's like you cut your head off so quick that you're dead, but it's like
She
the
had to deal with
dude
all the leading up to it, but yeah,
yeah, like the dude who is like he's tied in the chair and has to like cut his skull open and put brain matter into this jar.
that was brutal for me. A lot
Yeah,
of these were hard to. I mean, I've grown numb. You know, I can watch
right.
most things now, but some of this was hard not to twist away from for sure. The gray matter in the, you know, the dissolve, it has to like dissolve in a solution or whatever. And then when he doesn't do it, this contraption closes on him. It's like a toaster oven. You know, it's like heating coils. It's going to be the thumbnail for this video, but
Okay.
like heating coils in here, and it closes on him, and it's just like this demon face or whatever.
It's like an
So
Aztec sculpture or something.
like as much as John Kramer is the sympathetic character in this movie, and you're supposed to be sort of, if you're rooting for anybody at all, it's John Kramer in this, and but it's like, man, you are enjoying this though. Like you're sadistic. You know, you found a way to get your jollies off on, you know, just because you hate these people, sure, and your reasoning is solid, but most people wouldn't be like, instead of just, you know, even killing someone would be more merciful. Just straight up murdering someone would be more merciful than what he's doing to these people.
Right.
Uh, the mildest one, I mean, not mild, like it would suck, but the easiest one to watch was the girl that we feel most sympathetic for, which makes
Yeah.
sense. But she's like strung up on the chain and exposed to like extreme radiation, like this radiation gun to the face.
Yeah.
And when she cuts, she has to cut her. Well, not cut.
No,
She
she
has
has
to
like a
use like
yeah.
a mallet.
She's like strung up by one arm and one leg. And by the way, she was like probably 20 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like so if she does get out, she's still gonna fall, which she does. But so she
That wouldn't
starts.
kill her, but
Yeah, I mean, definitely mess you up. But yeah, she has like a hammer that she's supposed to like smash her foot and hand with to try to get out of these chains. And the girl's like about to start going for the hand, which you should, because that's what's keeping you in the air. And the woman's
mm-hmm.
like, "No, go for your foot first. It'll swing you out of the way." It's like, what? What is that? Why?
I mean, that makes enough sense if I think that makes enough sense because it puts you closer to the ground, less of a fall. But you know, if you don't know that gun is gonna move, you can't know that gun's gonna move. He's got it set up where as soon as she cuts herself free, it swings to her face again.
Yeah.
But she does her task in time and survives. And then this is, you know, well, are we getting into spoilers?
We've already kind of been in spoilers, probably.
We're kind of in spoiler territory. This is the point where the tables seem like they've turned, where kind of seemingly like the most evil person behind this, the daughter of the doctor that may or may not. It seems like there's no reason to believe he doesn't actually perform these successful surgeries and whatever. But his daughter is like the kind of the villain
Mm-hmm.
more than anyone of this, and her
Boyfriend,
I don't know,
something.
lover or
Yeah.
boyfriend or whatever. Uh, and they're all playing different roles as doctors and surgeons and whatever. But you know, I don't know what I guess their real job is con artists because
Yeah.
they've done this all these times. But they're the coldest ones, and this has just happened where she's just succeeded, and they turn the tables on John, and she just crushes that girl's head, and that was pretty brutal just because of like the not the you know, not that this was any grosser than anything else we've seen, but just like the cold heartedness of that. Like you are, you know, John's here. Like at least we should get her to a hospital. Like she did her
Yeah.
game, right? Even like the cold hearted John Kramer is like, we should get her to some help. She's gonna.
She's gonna die from radiation poisoning, anyways. But you know.
Oh, and the one that's on like the poster, it really doesn't take up that much time in the movie, and
Oh
it's
right.
just like isn't it just like a hypothetical? Like it's like this
Yeah.
guy is in a hospital. John's getting his, you know, whatever his treatments are, and he sees somebody like rifling, like a probably
Janitor
not
or
even a nurse,
custodian.
like a janitor or something, rifling through somebody's belongings, like they're gonna steal something, and he catches eyes of him. And before that guy sees John Kramer see him, and changes his mind about it, John's like fantasizing about putting this guy in this thing where he has to uh, he has to turn this knob to break each of his fingers one at a time with these wires,
Mm-hmm.
or else he gets his eyeballs sucked out through pneumatic tubes.
Yep.
And so that's what you're seeing on the cover is those pneumatic tubes coming out of his eyes. And he does get the eyeballs sucked out and whatever, but it's not real.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if they do that in a lot of the movies or not, but like this like false game, like this isn't really happening, hypothetical game, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'm grading on a curve or something. I actually had a really good time with this movie. I thought this was, like I said, maybe I'm grading on a curve. This was a lot more than I expected to enjoy the 10th Saw movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of thought they tend to have bad reviews, and the reason actually we're watching this, at least on my part, the reason I'm watching this is because of it's getting positive reviews compared to its predecessors.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I probably would have skipped this or maybe caught up with it later, but it turns out it's a good one. I don't. Would you call it a good one? Or are you like right in the middle about it?
I've kind of yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's just like a Saw movie. He's in it more. I didn't really have any. I didn't feel sympathy for him necessarily, and I feel like they're trying to get you to. But he
Well,
is
you
like,
certainly don't feel sympathy for the people being, or I didn't.
no, yeah, definitely not. But it's like,
I mean, maybe in the moments that they're playing the game, you're like you feel for them because it's like tense or whatever. But you know, you are convinced that all these people are bad people.
yeah,
Maybe they
but
don't deserve this specific thing, but they're
at the
doing the
same
wrong
time,
thing.
for me, it's like, dude, you're like 80 years old. Just accept your fate that you have cancer and you're gonna die. You're gonna die like the most prolific serial killer of all time to never be caught.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because, but
Well,
he's like
not
got
yet.
us. Well, yeah,
He's just getting started, but yeah,
but he's got his games to play. He can't die. He's got to punish people. Or
yeah. It was almost like weird seeing the whatever you want to call him, like the marionette ventriloquist dummy
all
looking
right,
guy
yeah.
like he rolls up and I was like, oh yeah, that guy. It really didn't play much of a role in this. It's like
He
he
just
just
like
he's just like creative about the way he delivers the message of the game and the rules and everything to people.
yeah,
So for one of them or something, I could have done without that. It didn't like take anything away from it. It's just like okay, if you have to,
right.
sure.
It's iconic.
But yeah, so it sounds like we're a little. I'm a little more positive for it. I just went into it expecting so little, and by the end of it, I was like, I'd watch that again someday. You know,
Yeah,
not in theaters again, but I'd watch it again. So what's your number? What's your score?
probably go with like a 4.5. It wouldn't like I don't think it was that great. And like the first Saw is the only one to me that's like really good because it's
Yeah, yeah.
and you know it.
I want to rewatch it and compare the two, like you know, sooner than later. So
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll do that. I am not gonna watch all of these movies and rank them or something like that. If you're watching this video right now and you have seen all the Saw movies, I would love to see how they rank for you, especially if you got a unique ranking. But I want to see where this one falls in that if you've seen this one
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna go higher. I'm trying to correct for the fact that I'm grading on a curve here and say I'd probably give it a 7. I would probably
Okay.
give it a 7.
Wow.
I think it's good.
All right.
My brain says give it an 8, but it's not that good.
Yeah.
It's not up there with like the best movies of the year, but way better than I thought. So yeah. So for me, a big recommendation.
I mean, if you're a
It
fan of
depends
the
on how you.
series, yeah, or if you just like torture and
If
gore
if
movies,
you
you
like
know.
have to watch each one of these for sure. I mean, you've already watched it, you
Yeah.
know, but for sure, if you're waiting on this one because you think maybe they can't do it 10 times, you know, like um, they did it, you know, it works out. So yeah, like I said, if you've seen it, comment below. Hit like if you like this kind of thing. Share it with somebody that you think might get something out of it. And remember to hit subscribe below if you haven't. Tell your friends to do the same. That helps us out greatly. And hit the bell too, because we don't pop up on anybody's algorithm. So if
Right.
you like these videos, the bell will remind you that we're posting something. But yeah, thanks for watching as always, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you.